Well, good morning, Ken. I wanted to take a moment here and review the lesson we had yesterday. It was a pleasure seeing you again. I'm glad we were able to get to work together finally. So as we take a look at this here, picture on the right-hand side was that of your swing evaluation. And then as we got started on the lesson, the picture to the left-hand side, we did discuss how did you apply what we discussed in the evaluation. And with that being said, you can see one of the first things we talked about was that of your stance. You said it as you tried planning to get a little bit straighter back, a little bit better position, and it's clear right here that you did. I think you did very well in that regards. You can see the back is a lot straighter, not as much of that hunch there that we see, especially right through here. Right through here, a big difference there. Back up. That's not very good drawing there, but back being a little bit straighter, coming up and up to your spine. You can tell that not as hunched over in the same position, but for the biggest part, here's the. All right, so as we look at the, as we look at your stance, like I said, I think it's a much better position. We see the alignment of the feet, one position being very close, and then the shoulders still being open up here. Shoulders on this case are still open here, feet not as drastic as we've seen before, but the idea of a stance is to try to get all the positions lined up. The shoulders, the hips, the knees, the feet, everything pointing in the same direction. So ideally as the hands come through and the club comes through, that way the path is somewhat straighter, going more at the target than across the body, as we can very easily see here. Now, the same thing as we talked over here. What we're still seeing during the lesson here is that position of I'll have right hand and or shoulders going to take the club directly back. So I think it is a combination of both the right hand and the shoulders. But you can see how it's just the club just picks straight up, right there to right there. Now, same thing. You still see that same position now, whereas before the club was almost aligned with your feet. Now the club is a little inside your feet and still going back. You see the position going to the top. And not necessarily do you always have to go all the way to that top of that golf swing. Trying to make it that full parallel position because, what we found here is that you can retain that wrist set position and that position a lot better if we don't tend to take it all the way up to the top. Now, as we look here, your top position is here. You start bowing the wrist a little bit right here, right there. And what I mean by bowing the wrist is right here. There. You can see your set position in this case is right here. So as you get to there, there's your here, hands then come down and across the body as we come through the shot. Now, because of that, that's where we've seen those little pulls, the shots. You can see that ball is going left. Here's your position. Where you start. So obviously that left position on the ball flight, so ideally what we're trying to do here is try to get things, one where the hands, arms, everything, basically move back in a better position. Hands, arms stay in front of the body, so, trying to keep that consistency so whereas we turn through, our path is going out towards the target rather than out and around. So first things first as we look at this here, Ken, is we're going to take you back down. Obviously, like I said, I think the stance is much better here. But then as we went into the stance, the first thing we did is I said, I want you to stand straight up, kind of lean forward, flex the knees, bring the weight back to the balls of the feet, and then bend from the waist and kind of feel the rear end or your butt kind of stick out a little bit. And while it's sticking out, it kind of keeps that position or that angle, keeping the weight on the balls of your feet. And that's what you said. You felt a little bit in the right in the lower back here. So as you watch yourself here, as you come through it here, and as you set up right here, get in this position here, much better. Oh, so much better. As we go from here to here compared to here to here. Big difference here. Now, night and day, I think we're standing up a little taller, got the weight up onto the balls of the feet, and we've bent from that waist, getting that rear end out a little bit, but you can see the flex of the knees. But ideally, what we try to do here, you can see that left shoulder there, compared on the left-hand side, you don't see that left shoulder at all. So straight here, straight here, straight here. Knees can be a little different here, but I think initially in the beginning when we showed you this here, when I had to turn them shoulders back, kind of felt that right knee kind of straighten up a little bit, and that's why we see the position that it is here. So overall, better position, better stance from there. Now, when we went to the next position, what I talked about was more of this half swing, and what I want you to do is left arm or left forearm, left shoulder working together, trying to get, as you take the club back, that we get one, a little more extension, so I want you to push the ball back here, and in this case here, you don't necessarily see it in this position, and I'm going to take you back down. Hold on one second here, and unfortunately, I don't think I got it all the way. Hold on. So apparently I did not. So as you look at this, and what I wanted you to do here in this case here, Ken, is I wanted you literally to push the ball back with that left forearm, left shoulder, pushing the ball back, keeping with you within your path here. So as you keep your club within your path, what we wanted to see is we want to see this left arm being a little straighter than what it is here, but it's still not a bad position, but almost in line with that club at your feet. Now with that club at your feet here, what we see, because you can almost see a big difference between here and where you're at on the left-hand side, whereas you take the club back, see how there's a little more turn, a little more extension with this shot compared where you can see the hands, everything being in this case, much better position. So then as you take it up, we just want to see here as the hands get here, and then that right elbow comes back to the side, down, and what we see initially is this right here. This, I'm moving the camera way too much here in this case. There's a difference when you look on the left-hand side here and where you can reference these hands at. Right there. See how you must lean with that left shoulder and turn down into it here? That right elbow is still in this case, whereas here, much better position, I think, overall, because you can see how the hands do it. I'm moving the camera, but you can still see a much better transition down and through, a better turn down and through. So initially, what I wanted you to do, and I don't have a great picture of it in this case, but I just wanted you to feel it and pushing that ball back at the house for 20 reps. Take it just about halfway back, just feel it, turn back to that position halfway, turn back down and turn through. Now by doing that here is we're keeping everything in front of you, taking it back and forth, feeling that transition. You know, ideally 20 swings back and forth here, down, right elbow to the side, turn back up. And we just feel that turn back and forth. Now as we go forward, what we look here, this is a little bit more of a full swing. That's all I want you to do, just turn it up to the top here. And you can see in this case here, we got to remember to still keep that right shoulder in position. You can see we're a little open here with the shoulders, but the stance looks a lot better. But as you get to here, night and day difference now. You're starting to take hold with this left arm by far. Let's look at the difference here. Act like you're pushing that ball back 6, 7, 8 inches back. And look at the difference right here. I'm going to show you back again. You almost see right about there. You can almost see the club coming back. Left shoulder trying to turn back. But that right hand just kind of pulling it way back behind you. Whereas here, big difference already. Night and day difference when we see the comparison between these two. And all I want you to do is just turn the club up here. See how the swing on the right, left-hand side is very short and compact, whereas here, told you I want that right elbow coming out maybe 2 to 6 inches away from the body in this case. So, and like you said, you got a little upright, but I think, I'll deal with this little upright as long as it's within that plane or that path that you see here. So we're up, just right to the right shoulder, and then you see how the hands come back down. Look at the difference just in a little bit that we worked here. Narrowing that plane or that path to where the path is closer together rather than we don't see a big lunge like we see here on the left-hand side. Here, there's that right hand getting the club very upright coming in. Here, we take it up. Left hand and just brings the club back down. Right elbow comes into the side. And you can kind of see right there where we could probably see just a little more of that hip turn coming through. And like I said, we're going to talk about that next time. But ideally, when we see this here, is that transition coming down into the shot. This is what we need to have before we start talking about that right hip and that transition through the shot, is getting you a little bit more consistent there. Night and day different here, Ken. And what I'll show you here, just in this little bit of working in this case here. So back and forth, feeling that, keep the hands essentially in front of us, or at least on the same path, going back and coming through. Now, when we compare it to the heads-on view here, I'll show you right here. What you find is just right here, just because of great position here, go to come back down, compared to here, this is where you are on the left-hand side. You see here, you can almost see this case right there where you start releasing the club early. Right there, club is released. Look at the difference where that club is released here and the club is bowing through. Whereas here, down, a little bit closer to the ball. Just by getting the hands coming back on the same path and coming through on the same path. Now, by all means, Ken, if you have any questions, I want you to give me a call. 314-724-6539. Or shoot me an email at michaelwyattgolf@gmail.com. So it's by just keeping it simple, 20 reps of the half swing, 20 reps of the large swing, back and forth, turning through on the same path. Good talking with you again, Ken, and we'll talk to you later.